Welcome back to the channel, baby. What am I doing right now? Well, I'm still trying to get over being sick, and but I'm doing better. Thank you very much for your thoughts and prayers, and whatever you do to connect. What am I doing? Well, all these that I'm doing recently that will release in the next 2 days go way back, and this one is no exception. It is Bob Dylan doing "Death Is Not the End," and then I'm going to do Ivor, which I think you probably told me that she was in Vikings, but I didn't remember that. But this particular song, it says Ivor from the Vikings or something like that. And I love that show. And I'll have to rewatch it because of my brain. I don't know her character. But Bob Dylan and that Death Is Not the End. And then Ivor doing the same thing. So here we go. Right, speakers are off. Let's get Bob up here. This is not a live version. I wanted to do the studio version. The live version that I saw didn't look very attractive. And besides that, Ivers was also done in the studio. So here we go.
You're sad and when you're lonely and you haven't got a friend, just remember that death is not the end. And all that you've held sacred falls down and does not mend. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end. No, not the end. No, just remember that death is not the end. When you standing on the crossroads that you cannot comprehend, just remember that death is not the end. And all your dreams have vanished and you don't know what's up the bend. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end. No, not the end. No, just remember that death is not the end. When the storm clouds gather round you and heavy rains descend, just remember that death is not the end. And there's no one there to comfort you with a helping hand to lend. Just remember that death is not the end.
Say goodbye.
Not the end. No, not the end. No, just remember that death is not the end. Oh, the tree of life is growing where the spirit never dies, and the bright light of salvation shines in dark and empty skies.
this off here, we'll discuss real quick while I get the other one up. So what you think? I like this, very simple. I like his voice. He's a very simple guitar player, but rhythmically he keeps, he holds it together. I know that some of my buddies are not going to agree with me on that, and that's fine. There's some songs that they like that I don't like, but I love Bob. He's done very little that I don't like, to be honest with you. I don't know that I can name one right now, but I was wondering, because I don't know and I didn't do research on this. I should have. When did this come out? Because it reminds me of the stuff that was coming out, I think in the early 80s, maybe later, where he did a shift and he decided that he was going to follow Jesus. Remember that? And he left the Jewish faith and he started following Jesus. And I think he did it for 3 years because he commented on it. Somebody asked him why he left. He didn't believe the Jesus movement as much as he just kind of transitioned away from it. And all the songs weren't as much like that as they were later. They were more thoughtful, rebellious, kind of like it was in the 60s and 70s. He said Jesus only preached 3 years, so why couldn't he leave doing it as well? Which I thought was funny, and other people didn't find it as funny. Who knows? I mean, if he made a profession of faith, great. If he didn't, great. I mean, I could care less either way. I know what I believe. I know what, he needs to know what he believes. And but I think that lyrically it was very simple, and I think that lyrically it was probably done around that time. Now I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, but if I am or I am not, let me know. All right, SCconservative. Here we go. Does that stand for South Carolina Conservative? Because I was one for a while. Here we go. This is Ivor live. It says. This is the only thing I could find. I looked everywhere for an Ivor cover of this, and it's the only thing I could find. And it doesn't have any. It may be live, but it doesn't have any but the one picture of her. So we'll get this up and we'll play it, and there you go.
When you're sad and when you're lonely and you haven't got a friend, just remember that death is not the end.
And all that you held sacred falls down and does not mend. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end. Not the end. Just remember that death is not the end.
When you're standing on the crossroads that you cannot comprehend, just remember that death is not the end.
And all your dreams have vanished, and you don't know what's up the bend. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end. Not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. When the storm clouds gather round you and heavy rain descend, just remember that death is not the end.
And there's no one there to comfort with a helping hand to lend. Just remember that death is not the end.
Not the end. Not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. For the tree of life is growing where the spirit never dies, and the bright light of salvation shines in the empty sky.
when the cities are on fire with the burning flesh of men. Just remember that death is not the end.
Not the end, not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, not the end. Just remember that death is not the end. Just remember that death is not the end.
All right, let me get this off here and we'll discuss. Okay. I was thinking about it, and I'm thinking that I really hope that it doesn't get blocked, and it may. The reason I say that is because of Dylan, and I seem to remember now that most of Dylan's stuff, no matter who it's out by, no matter even the cover stuff, occasionally get blocked. And of course, not really by him; he could care less. But by his label, by everybody else who gets paid, which I certainly understand. So if it gets blocked, I'll find another way to do it, or I'll leave it and it'll come back. A lot of times they get blocked, and within 30 days they're up again. A lot of times people don't even look, but YouTube has to do that in order to protect themselves. So I certainly appreciate that, and I don't care. I'll get it one way or another. I love it, and I love Eivor's cover, and I love Bob, and I think Bob did a great job, but I especially loved the way that Eivor did it. Now, I said at first was that Bob on the cover with Eivor, and obviously it was not. It was her a little later when it was more of him and less of her, as far as when the harmonies and stuff. And I don't know who it is, but it's not Bob. It's a little bit different timbre of voice and also a different accent. And so, but it's great, man. SCconservative, thank you, brother. I think he called me about, no, the way I was pronouncing Eivor, I think he said something about it, but that's the only way I know how, brother. I'm Southern. Eivor, is that right? Eivor. Anyway, thanks guys for stopping by. I certainly appreciate it. And if you like this, which I did, hit like. Is that like? Subscribe to the channel. I don't remember my brain, guys. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment if you've got something else you want me to do. Leave it. And they're stacking up, and a lot of it has to do with my health. So again, if you're watching this and yours hasn't been done yet, please let me know. I mean, please don't give up on me. And I'm not dumping anything at all. I'm trying to do them as I can. And again, thank you for your patience, and come back next time. And until you do, peace.